Hello and welcome to the unboxing video for Veilwraith. Okay, so this isn't. This is the mass production copy. This is the first one to arrive. This is the one that everybody's going to be getting. This is the old pre-production copy. As you can see, we made a couple of changes here. I don't know if you can see it on the picture here. The lighting's not ideal because it's literally my phone on a stand in a dark room, so you've got this shaft of light coming from this side, but I hope you can get the gist of what we've got here, as well as probably my reflection and stuff. So here's the pre-production copy. We've added the Tabletop Gaming Must Play Award, which came in just as we were going to print, so I'm absolutely delighted to get that. There's 3,000 board games released every year, and about 20 of them, if that, get the Must Play Award. It's like a 5-star review from Tabletop Gaming magazine, so we had about 5 of these copies go out to different reviewers, and obviously the feedback's been brilliant. So yeah, we were dead chuffed to get that on the box just in time, and we've got some more lovely little praise things on the cover there. We've also changed the sides of the box so they're a bit more interesting. So this was the pre-production copy, so it had all the info, that's fine, but we've just added the artwork to the sides here so it looks way cooler. And then there's some weight to these, and then the back's pretty much the same, just tightened up a couple of spelling errors or contents that we've added and stuff. So let's get rid of that one for now. You've seen that one in the other unboxing. This is the final version that everybody will be getting. It's also changed. It's no longer a Fantasy Quest game. That was a little bit confusing because it's set in the same world as Killforth, but it's not strictly a Fantasy Quest game. It's not Bloom of Killforth. It's not that game system. It's its own system. So we're calling that the Veil Odyssey game. And so here it is. So I'm dead excited about this because, like I say, this is straight from the mass production line. The games are there in China waiting to ship out after Chinese New Year. So this is exactly what you'll be getting. The only difference here is the packaging is going to be slightly different. For the boxes, for the way that it was shipped, both of the expansion boxes are inside this box, which if you've ordered the expansion or the Veiled Wraith alternate art pack, you'll get them separately because they'll be shrink wrapped, but it shows you how you can store them in the same box. Okay, so here we go. Without further ado, here's our catalogue. So the Whole or Nothing catalogue is growing. I'm really just so pleased to see, you know, we've got like a legacy whole catalogue of games now. So here's obviously the first one, Gloom of Killforth, all the expansions for it, Shadows of Killforth. We've got the awards in there as well, look. The Shadows of Killforth expansions, Veilwraith now we can add to the catalogue with its Absolution expansion. Here the historic epic battle system games, 1066, 1565, St Elmo's Pay, the promo pack, which obviously has a couple of cards in here that you can use in 1066 as well, including Hereward the Wake, one of my favourite characters, who didn't actually attend the Battle of Hastings, but he carried on fighting for the Saxons against William the Conqueror after he took over. And he's the character that Robin Hood is based on, and his promo card for 1066 is in this promo pack if you do end up picking it up. And of course, our next game to launch, 1815's Scum of the Earth, which is kickstarting either in March or April, depending how quickly we can pull out all the final stuff together. That's going to be dead exciting. That's probably the history game I'm most excited about out of all of them. I think it's going to be really cool. Lifeform here with the Lifeform expansions. Oh, and this one. Oh, never heard of that one. Okay, so here we are, the rulebook, the Veilwraith rulebook. So this is the final one. We bulked it out to 12 pages just for the sake of not trying to squeeze everything in, just to give a bit of breathing space for the artwork and some explanations and stuff. I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. The layout that Darren Marks has done on the graphic design. I think I've always had somebody else write the rules in the past. Like I've written the rules and then had editors just completely rewrite them. This is the first time I've written the rule book and published it as is. I've taken loads of feedback from a lot of you guys, a lot of the backers, and it's been publicly available for anybody who wanted to, spot spelling mistakes and stuff. But this is the first time I've really just written and edited the rules myself, so I'll be really, really interested and keen to hear your feedback on that. With all of our rule books, I like to keep them as like a living document. Any mistakes or anything that we can make clearer, I'll always try and work into the next iteration of the rulebook in the next print run, and we'll always make the latest version of the rulebook available online through Google Drive or wherever we can host it on Board Game Geek and that. So yes, not only that, but also really keen to hear about how easy it is to pick up, because obviously rulebooks are notorious. Some people love the Gloom of Kilforth rulebook, some people really struggled with it for whatever reason, so I'd love to make things as clear as possible. Now obviously it's a much easier game to learn Veilwraith, I think, so I'll be interested to hear how you guys pick up on that. The only thing we've missed out, which I pointed out in the last update, is in the setup. It doesn't say to take 5 ribbon tokens for the campaign when you first play in a campaign. So be sure to take 5 ribbon tokens. There's 5 in the box. It references it a few points throughout the rules, but it just doesn't say in the setup section, take 5 ribbon tokens for the campaign. So just try to remember that, please. Okay, and there it is. Yeah, plenty of explanations, examples, close-ups on the cards to explain the different elements, the different variants, how to play cooperatively if you've got multiple copies of the game, competitive play, how to get people to just jump into the campaign if you've started a campaign and your mate comes around and they want to join in, you can totally do that. If we ever get out of lockdown and you can have friends around. A glossary, which I hope is really useful. All the different ways you can rotate and flip the cards. I've gone to great lengths to make them clear, because you can tilt cards, you can exhaust them, which means no effect. You can turn the keys, you can use abilities. So it's all outlined here. There's just a summary of all the different sort of technical terms, such as they are. And a glossary with bold for the numbers for the first time any instance appears, and then every other instance. So really sort of tried hard to bring this up to the standard of the latest Gloom of Kilforth rulebook in terms of being complete and covering everything. Nice little round summary, so you can just have that with you when you're playing and refer to the round summary, and if anything vexes you, you can just go straight to that, whichever area. But yeah, it's dead easy, you'll pick it up in no time. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so I like this because some of the tokens have already come out. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it just means that you don't have to, if you have to press on really hard on the tokens and they rip the corners, that annoys the heck out of me. So this is looking good. So this is all the tokens here. We've got the new design of the power tokens, which I think is really neat. There's the front and back. So you got the sort of more simplistic, it gives you +1 versus a nifty little design. There's the ribbon tokens, the action power tokens, and the advanced sides if you ever get the opportunity to upgrade these. So they've got the circles round to show that they're more powerful. So let's get this out and see how easily these pop out. Oh, they're already coming out. Hey! So yeah, look at that. Oh, lovely tokens. Okay. Boom, ready to play. Okay. Right, what else have we got in here? Okay, the dial, the spirit dial. I love this. It's like a really... I love what Darren Marks did with the design here. It's just a really cool like suggestion of one of the Deja threats and the Archfiend looking over you. A really simple tracker for your spirit. Okay, and then we've got the decks. So these are the base game decks here. So these are the expansions. I'll come to those in a sec. But as you can see, they fit even inside the box. They fit within the box as well. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the first deck. It's got a little tab, so it just comes off super easily. You don't have to get a pen or a knife and split the cards when you open it. It just comes away, and they feel really good quality, tarot sized. You've got your rules reference summary card, which I've added, and it's also got added a symbol breakdown for all the different types of cards and abilities and things. So that's pretty neat. And here we go. Yeah. So memories, keys. Just looking through these just makes you want to play it. These are the base game threats. Nice. So as you can see, there's 4 of each of the base game threats. Often the stats, even on the same type of threat, vary. So you never know which cards you're going to get. And sometimes you'll have maybe only 2 or 3 of these guys appear in a vignette. So even if you replay the same vignette, you might get a different... You might be up against a different crowd of bad guys. Like these guys, the pariahs, for example, some of them do 1 damage, which is fine. It's pretty standard. That's like the least a threat can do, but there's also 2 damage threats here, and those can get really nasty early on. So there's a large amount of variety there in how each vignette's going to play out, even if you replay the same one. And here we got the foes. Okay, a lot of this is spoilery because you're going to discover these for yourself during your first playthrough, and they've all got really cool abilities, individual abilities. Here's the next deck. Okay, we'll just find that tab. Here we go. Okay, so we have the first vignette. So these are the five vignettes, 5 adventures included in the base game. And the action cards, these are like the source of everything. Every round you'll be interacting with these to take on the threats that are coming at you. Your memories, memory of blood, and your upgraded memory should be here as well. Yep. So as you progress through the campaign, after each vignette, or after most vignettes, you'll be able to upgrade your deck and take out a card and bring in a new card that's more powerful and make your Veiled Wraith more powerful as you go. It's a really fun aspect of it because the games they play in about 20 or 30 minutes once you've got them down, and then it's a really lovely feeling to sort of gradually make these improvements and be ready for the next vignettes as they slowly ramp up in difficulty. Cool. Just the artwork's gorgeous. Okay, cool. And finally, for the base game, the dividers, which you asked for. So we had that poll whether or not to put the titles on. So you've got both options. You can write on one side if you like, and we've printed on the other side. So they are double-sided, these, for your own reference, in case you want to store them in a way different to how we might suggest. Here we go. Lovely, okay. And so this is the card tray that they'll be going in, and they fit super snugly. Lovely. I'll just move these tokens out of the way and get one of these decks in there. Yeah. Nice. Cool, okay. So they all fit in neatly. So all the cards can be stacked along here, and then you can keep all the tokens and the expansions if you've got them in the other side there. And if you have the expansion and the alternative art pack Veiled Wraith, and you sleeve all your cards, you can still fit them all in, all the way across here. No problem. Okay, so we'll take these expansions out. So as I said, these will come packaged separately and shrink wrapped, but once you've opened them, if you so choose, you can stick the entire box of each expansion in this box. So you can store the whole game just in one box, which I love. The first thing I do when I get an expansion for a game is try and fit it in the base game box. So this fits really nicely. We've got the neatly Veil crystals as well, loads of them actually. Probably way more than you'll need during a game, but you can just use those to mark off a boss's health, for example, when you beat it. Or maybe Ricky Royal said he liked to mark out how many keys he had in each scenario, just as a quick reminder. So you can use those for whatever you like. We've got a couple of baggies in there as well for your cards and tokens and whatnot. And the Veiled Wraith alternative art box. Okay, so this is just no new game content at all. Slightly more family-friendly versions of the art, I guess. It's just covering up the female characters for those who wanted that. Not all the female characters, obviously, but a couple of the more exposed images. And so there we go. Terrific artwork. Just, yeah, like the nature spirit's almost completely different. The rest of these are just covered up nicely. So you just literally just swap those out for the cards in the base game, stick them in. And Absolution. Okay, for bang for buck, expansion content, this is probably one of the... obviously I'm biased, but this is probably one of the best bang for buck expansions you can get. 15 new scenarios, new vignettes for Veiled Wraith. So this will take you, it's a great way to sort of judge, you buy the base game, you play all 5 scenarios, there's loads of replayability in that, and there's loads of different ways to tackle the scenarios and build your decks. And, that might be all you want from the game. But if you do love it and you do want to go deeper, this is like the complete journey. And this has the extra 15 scenarios that sort of take it up to 20 vignettes, your campaign. And by the time you get to the 20th one, it is crazy. You've got all kinds of... The whole deck of threats and everything will change. And so here... Oh, and you get these cool tokens as well. So these tokens, these are the vignette ability tokens. So every vignette, every scenario has its own set of abilities. Which might be that keys are completely different. In this adventure, keys give you spirit boost +1, so you gain a key, you gain a spirit as well, and they get more and more. I'm not going to spoiler these too much, but they change as they go on, and by the end of them, they might not be great, they might not be beneficial, the keys or whatever. So they are double-sided. Obviously, you can play them in order. And they've got the vignette number on that they adhere to. And it's a great way of just having them out as a reminder whilst you're playing the game. The vignette card's over in the corner. You might forget about it. So to have one of these ability tokens right in front of you, right in the play area, just reminds you, oh, crumbs, yeah, that every time if I defeat this adventure, I gain a ribbon or whatever the ability is. So they're really good as reminders. But also, after you finish the entire campaign, if you manage to finish it, they can be randomised. So you could completely shuffle them up. Just take out the 20th one, because that's obviously you've won the campaign kind of thing. That's the final one. Take these, shuffle them up, and again, add a massive ton of variety to how you play your next campaign, as if there isn't, enough variety in the game already. And there are, bear in mind, other ways to change up the game in the rulebook to increase the difficulty as you play, even change the type of Veiled Wraith that you are. There's different starting setups in the rulebook as well. And the cards, I think we ended up... I think there's more cards in this expansion than there is in the base game, because it just kept going crazy with the vignettes. And there's loads more variety. So there's 4 of each threat in the base game. And obviously they have different stats and everything. But in the expansion, it was going to be the same. But Jose's artwork kept coming, and I kept coming up with new ideas and new mechanics and new characters that I wanted to include. So we just kept them going. So now in the... well, not now. I mean, this is going back a while to the design. But in the version you're getting, there are only 2 of each threat in the expansion. So... there are multiples of some foes. You might get 2, 3, or 4 of some of the foes. And these are the foes. And there's so many foes because each one has its own sort of... Each vignette has its own setup of bad guys that you've got to face off against. And sometimes even how they come into play is different. But yeah, once you get down to the individual threats, these are like the regular ones that you'll be coming across every adventure. They scale up, they get more and more powerful. And there's only 2 of each one, and sometimes the stats vary, so again, you don't know what you're getting each time you play. If there's only one of them in it, you don't know which one it's going to be. But it just adds loads more variety. So it's like, as the difficulty goes up and the vignettes get higher, the variety gets more intense, more interesting as well. And look, there's just tons of characters here. Okay, cool. So that's the first deck from Absolution, Threats and Foes. And we've got another one here. Look at that. Okay. And here's the extra vignettes. Tons of them. Okay, so each one lists all of the threats that you'll be facing in each scenario, the ability, the total explore value that you need to defeat the portal and escape, and those obviously get higher the further up the campaign you go, until you get to the last one, the final barrier. Just tons, and they've all got little poem. It's like a hint of what's to come in that particular vignette. Yeah, I'm just thinking about these. As I see them, it reminds me of what the vignettes do and how they get you. So yeah, some of them will just be standalone foes. Some of them might come back in more than one vignette, so you might think you've beaten them and then they reappear. Yeah, just loads. Cool. And that is the unboxing for Veilwraith and its related expansions for Absolution. There's still time to order the game. If you haven't ordered the game, get on GameFound. We've still got limited copies of the Absolution expansion. We've still got copies of the Veiled Wraith alternative art pack. We've sold out of the playmats, unfortunately. I should have put the playmat out before I'd done the unboxing, but when the game arrived I was so excited I just wanted to get it open and get this video done. And that's it. So they're sat there now, frustratingly. They're in the factory in China waiting to be loaded up onto boats, but that's not going to happen until March, after Chinese New Year. We're going to try and get them on the first boats out, and they're due, once again, due to be delivered to you guys in May, I believe. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I've made it a big old mess now, but oh, here we go. I'll just put these cards in so you can see how they all fit neatly, and then you can use the dividers to separate them out. And as you can see, if you do sleeve your cards, there's plenty of room for sleeves as well, and still loads of room for the tokens in there. You can fit both boxes back in here, along with the dial, rulebook, catalogue if you can hang on to that. It's got some good stuff in it. Ta-da! Beautiful. Veilwraith. In store soon. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.